Welcome everyone, I'm Maria and this is Friday Sews. I'm known as VeloSews on social media. So this is VeloSews Studio and you can see there's quite a bit happening at the moment. So welcome to all the new subscribers. The top that I'm wearing is a Butterick 5608 View D that I sewed in 2024. The print is one of Minerva.com's exclusive prints, and I think it's a Moroccan crepe, so it's really good in that when the pleats are at the neckline here, it actually sits nicely, and you can either add the seaming shaping or not. That's all I'm saying. So as an update, with pattern making class, this week was the last class, and in that class we were to finalize our skirt, pants and bodice blocks and put them into cardboard. This is what they look like. So what you'll notice is with my pants block, I kind of went nuts. I did a straight pants. I've got boot cut, and on the day I decided why not do capri style. So I've got 3 types of legs with all of the waistbands, pockets, etc. On this one is the bodice block. So for this one I've got short sleeves, long sleeves. I've got a 2-part collar and I've got the pencil skirt. So from the pencil skirt I can do a few things with it. What I did before class, I was looking online and I found these templates. I'll show you what they look like. I'm terrible at drawing, so this is pretty much what I've used for designing an idea and then trying to figure out proportions and then playing with the blocks. So that's why I was really pleased that I got to do the pattern making class and finished it off. So I think in May I'll do the extension class and decide what I'm going to do next. I'm sure that there'll be other things that I'd like to do. In the afternoon on day 4, I had an idea. Oh look, there's a blouse that I've been looking at by a company called Arket, A-R-K-E-T, and it's got an asymmetric collar. So that shirt idea has almost been drafted, so I've almost got all the patterns done for that. So when I get the toile done, I will show that to you. So I kind of went a bit nuts. Getting back to what's been happening in the sewing studio, these are some of the patterns that I've printed in AO that have been sitting in one corner waiting to be worked on. So what I need to do next is to go through every single one of these, figure out what the pattern is, am I going to keep it, start to put it into separate packets and put them, basically try and time when I'm actually going to use them. And if I'm not going to use them, pass them on to somebody else because I've already printed them. So there you go. So that's what's happened, and if you saw my earlier video, you'll know that there have been a few purchases that have walked their way into my sewing room. That doesn't help with the cleanup, but at least I know what I've got, right? So that's that. Now, Sew Organised Style podcast, there's a lot of things that have been happening there. The winners for Ida Victoria's PDF giveaway all were notified this week. Thank you, Ida, for providing the PDF patterns to each of them. They're really excited. Next week I've got Leesa Simpson. She had it was a shop, right? And all she did was she taught people how to sew in Brisbane. So it was called Sewing Adventures, and it ran for about 7 years, and she had to close it last year for a few reasons, and also the shop was being sold. So I've got her on the podcast because her latest venture is called Sneaker Stitch Australia, and that's where you sew your own sneakers. So that's quite interesting, and I just thought that would be appealing, and it'll be in audio and video, so you get to see what Leesa's all about. She's just full of energy and lots of ideas, and she has been like that because that's what her family's like. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. I got an advanced copy of a book called Plus Size Pattern Making for Women's Wear, and the authors are Gabby Brown and Layla Kelleher. It's now available. I'm really happy that Gabby and Layla have finally been able to publish this book. It's a really good textbook for pattern makers, and I think the colleges and the universities that train people to be pattern makers will gain a lot of benefit out of the information about sizing and proportions for a variety of sizes. And look, it is plus size women that they're focusing on, and you know, there isn't a textbook like that, or there may not have been much information available. So the future of fashion design is going to be a lot more inclusive from the get-go. If you have a copy of it and you read the acknowledgements, you'll know that Gabby was really kind in mentioning 3 of the very early pattern testers. So it was Annie, Megan, and myself, and we did some testing of one of the chapters when they first started. So that was really kind of Gabby to do that. So next week I'm going to be doing that recording with Gabby, and I'm really looking forward to how that pans out. You'll hear it in April. Now, for Sew Over 50, we're at the end of February. So for all of February, people would have been found a lot faster if they used hashtag February Sew Over 50. Once we click over to March, it'll be hashtag March Sew Over 50. That's all I'm saying. We'll find you if you put the hashtag Sew Over 50, if you put any iteration, because that's what we try and do. We try and find what people are making online so that we can showcase them. Going back to the cleanup. So it's not just the patterns, but there's also these pieces that I have been altering. So I think last week I mentioned this particular, my Yeehaw shirt. So the seam, the sleeve has now been sewn in correctly, and it sits on my shoulders, not off my shoulders. So that's that one. Then the other one that I did was, this is a Berta shirt that I actually extended down to be a dress. And again, it was the same issue about the sleeve not being on the shoulder, even though it was designed to be on the shoulder. So it's now on my shoulder point. So that's really cool. The other thing was the facing. This fabric is a really lovely viscose rayon, but every time I washed it, everything would crease up, and all of this would bunch over to the to where the buttonholes are, or the buttons. It was driving me nuts. So what I did was I just sewed one row of stitching to hold it down. So in the future, when this comes out of the wash, it'll be easy to iron for me. So that's all I'm saying. And then lastly, so they're the 2 alterations that I did this week. The last one that I've been planning to do, so this is the Amelia dress by Minerva.com. And what I found is I really want to do some more work on making sure that the skirt is hitting me in the right spot. What I'm finding is, yes, there's lots of gathers here for, you know, a decent bust size. However, it's really low, like it's right on the, it's more towards the waist than underneath the bust. So what I'm going to trial is I'm going to unpick this. I've got some lines here, just chalk marks, as to where I want the gathers to be on this particular part of the skirt. And so I don't need the gathers in the middle. It's for these pieces here to give them some room. So what I'm going to do is play with this, just get the gathers in the right position, in the right place. Then I'll go back to the pattern, and I will endeavour to raise up the skirt, this part of the skirt. I'll curve it up higher, and I will remove some of this length in the bodice. See how it goes. I'll do it in calico first so that there'll be no tears when I actually do it in the proper fabric. And the proper fabric is sitting over on my sewing table, which will not be touched until I do the calico version of this. Going back over, pattern making has finished for me for the moment, but I'll be going back to do the extension course in May. I've got plenty of bodice blocks. I've got plenty of block patterns to use from now on. More cleaning up to do with patterns that have been printed but not packaged and used as yet. They need to get scheduled, done alterations to existing clothes. I did get rid of some clothes last week. They went to charity. Lots happening on Sew Organised Style podcast. Sew Over 50 is still up and running on Instagram, and we want to find you no matter what month it is with hashtag the month Sew Over 50 in the hashtag that you use. And that's it for the moment. So have a lovely week. Thank you for joining me on Friday Sews. My name's Maria and this is VeloSews Studio. Cheers.